Brandis, President Joe Biden laid out his vision for a massive, once-in-a-generation agenda of investments last week before a joint session of Congress. Here is what he had to say yesterday.
I think it's about time we start giving tax breaks and tax credits to working-class families and middle-class families instead of just the very wealthy. And here's what the American Family Plan doesn't do. It doesn't add a single penny to our deficit. It's paid for by making sure corporate America and the wealthiest 1% just pay their fair share.
And joining us now to talk about the American Families Plan and much more are Congressman Sean Casten, a Democrat from Downers Grove, Congresswoman Marie Newman, a Democrat from Chicago's Southwest Side, and Congresswoman Robin Kelly, a Democrat from Madison and now chair of the Democratic Party of Illinois. And we invited every Republican member of the Illinois congressional delegation. None accepted our invitation, but we do thank you all for joining us. Congresswoman Newman, a lot of investments announced, first with infrastructure and now with this $1.8 trillion American Families Plan. Before we get to the cost, tell us what's in this plan.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the American Families Plan is well named because it's everything that has to do with families, education, health care, support for all of your employment. So what we have to think about is that in combination with the infrastructure plan, the other part of our infrastructure is the American family. So things like child tax credits, access to free college, community college, making sure our workforce is trained, and making sure that we're starting to cut poverty. So all of those things that help support a 21st century economy are critical in tandem with the American Jobs Plan to really move forward in a dimensionalized fashion for our American society. So I'm thrilled to see the content in there.
Trillions of dollars in investments here, and Congressman Casten, as you said, at least as it relates to, as you saw, as it relates to this American Families Plan, it would be paid for by higher taxes on those making more than $400,000 and on corporations. Does that mean it's going to be next to impossible to get any Republican support here?
Well, 2 points on that. Number one, a lot of these things are stimulative of the economy, making sure that people can live up to their potential, making sure that children aren't in poverty, providing more generous Pell Grants, getting kids into early childhood education. These are going to provide returns regardless of how we pay for them. I would hope we can get some Republicans on board. I mean, some of the provisions, you've talked about the headlines, but some of the things are funding the IRS to make sure that they actually can do the audit. The audit rate is down 80% over the last 10 years for people making more than $1 million a year. That's not changing the tax rates. That's just making sure that people go through. There's some really clever stuff they've got in there of saying let's require financial institutions to provide disclosures if anybody has a bank account with a taxable transaction in the same way you do with the W-2, because there's a huge amount of tax fraud that goes through people not paying taxes. Should we make sure our tax structure is more equitable? Of course we should. But I think on balance, there should be some things that folks on both sides of the aisle should say, yeah, whatever the tax code is, we should make sure we enforce the laws that we have.
And here's what was said about negotiating both infrastructure and the Families Plan. President Biden said, quote, "We're going to work with Republicans. We're going to find common ground." Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said, "I think it's worth talking about, but I don't think there will be any Republican support. None. Zero." Congresswoman Kelly, does it make sense to try and negotiate with Republicans on either infrastructure or American Families Plan if you hear what the Senate Minority Leader says there?
I always think that we should try to negotiate and have a bipartisan effort. I think we should give it our all, but if it doesn't work out, we need to move ahead. There was polling done, and the American people said they wanted us to work in a bipartisan manner, but bigger than that, they wanted us to get things done. So if we have to move ahead without the Republicans, then that's what we have to do. But I think that we have to try for bipartisanship, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
There do seem to be bipartisan negotiations on the Justice and Policing Act, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, or police reform in general. Congresswoman Newman, are there hopes of passage of that, and what would that bill do?
Yeah, and I think that they're real. I think that the combination of Tim Scott getting together with Senator Booker and Congresswoman Karen Bass to have a more particular conversation around the content of the bill. Here's what is most important, is the American people want this done. They want justice in policing and police reform. That doesn't mean taking away public safety or policing. It does mean that we want a better, more 21st century model of public safety, and then support for our neighborhoods and healthcare services. So all the wraparound services are presented at the same time, and everybody gets what they need, instead of just having one element of community policing.
So we'll have to see where those negotiations go. Also, that passed the Senate late last week, Congressman Casten, a bill sponsored by Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth to provide trillions of dollars for water infrastructure upgrades. You know that Illinois and Chicago have a problem with lead service lines. Do you think that transitioning out of those lead service lines, will that be 100% funded by Congress? Because a lot of local governments are afraid of the costs here of doing that.
Well, I certainly look forward to seeing it's delightful to see what Senator Duckworth has done. Look forward to seeing that in the House. I actually was just on a call today with folks in Westmont, in my district, talking about exactly this issue, that, a lot of newer homes, they don't have lead anymore, but it's that last service connection that needs to go through. And it's just a gap, right? That the towns know what they pay for on one side, the homeowners know what they pay for, but it's that last segment, and I'm delighted to see Senator Duckworth's leadership on this. Look forward to seeing what we might be able to push through in the House and do something jointly to get to the president's desk.
Congresswoman Kelly, you saw President Biden talk about, in his address to the nation, gun legislation, another ban on assault weapons, closing the gun show loophole, universal background checks. Obviously very important to your constituents in Chicago as we see more and more guns on the streets every year. Any bipartisan movement on any of those? I know there has been action in the House.
Well, the background check bill and the Charleston loophole were both passed in a bipartisan fashion. It's just getting it called in the Senate. That has been our heartburn and heartbreak. And I'm hoping at some point soon that we can get these pieces of legislation passed. Gun violence was even worse during the COVID 2020 year, and it's not getting better in 2021. Suicides have also increased during this time, and most successful suicides are done by guns. So we need to move forward. We need to move forward on the trafficking that the president talked about also. Very, very important in the Chicagoland area.
Absolutely, and we're going to leave it there for now. But later in the program, we'll be joined again by Congress members to discuss Illinois losing a seat in the House. For now, our thanks to Representatives Sean Casten, Marie Newman, and Robin Kelly.